your time in Bain and Grantstown and what has led you to this point. And now I need to find out some more information from you about the move that you made. Because when we last spoke earlier this year, you were sitting in here with two of your advisors. You all had come up with a plan that you would be doing, really focusing on youth development in the area, talking about cleaning up the neighborhood. And really you were running as an independent candidate. Still as intelligent, still as handsome, still as well brought up, still as well prepared then, but back then you were doing it on your own. And for me, that was kind of impressive that you would dare to dream in such a big way and to do so without the political backing. At that time, I don't recall us speaking negatively of any party in particular, but you just saying that you wanted to be able to represent your community. Now, all of a sudden, you are doing that under the FNM banner, and very proudly. You've shared posts online about your FNM and why it is so. What led to this move from Travis the Independent to Travis the FNM?
Well, let me tell you that as a young man coming into this new political arena, I certainly did not come in to conform to the already established system or way of doing things. I didn't come in to be the typical politician or to sell the people of Bain and Grantstown a dream or quote unquote broken promise and expect some different result in the long run. And I said that simply because after my team and I would have canvassed through the area and we saw the extent to which the community of Bains and Grantstown certainly need help on all fronts. It was evident then that we needed to ensure that we had the best people on our team and the best backing and support to be able to remedy the challenges and the situations that the people of the community are facing. And so we had to come to a conscious decision in ourselves. I could have continued to be independent, knowing full well of my limitations to effectively meet the challenges of the people in Bain and Grantstown. But because I'm in this to really help and to bring about the best effective changes possible, it was evident then that I, go and sit down and hear from what all of the parties had to offer and to figure out which party at this time would have been the best party, not only for Bain and Grantstown, but for the country on the whole. I would have gotten a call from Dr. Minnis on numerous occasions, and he spoke to me in reference to the Bain and Grantstown community and how special that is for him, having grown up inside the area and wanting now to officially give back and to bring the community to a standard of where it should be. And so the overall transition took place. I pushed it off a few times back to back. Man, I'm not interested at this time. I'm not interested. And finally, I decided to go and meet with Dr. Minnis after he called. And in that conversation we had, he was like, Travis, you're in my community. It's like, yeah, I mean, I in my community too. And so I'm thinking in my mind, oh, here's this politician come to sell me some sweet political dream. And we're sitting there and he's like, Travis, I'm proud of the work that you're doing in Bain and Grantstown. He said, as a young man, I see myself in you. I see what I was at your age and your passion and your desire for change for your community. I could relate to that. And I'm looking at him. I was like, okay, go on. I'm listening. And he said, Travis, I'm a firm believer that after you would have worked hard and you would have done well for yourself and you walk through that door of opportunity, you do not close that door shut. You got to reach back and give other young people an opportunity to walk through that same door what made you successful. And he said, that's what I want to do for you. And so his passion, his sincere desire to help the people of Bain and Grandstown, and by extension, young people on the whole, was what sparked my overall interest. And for me to know and understand that certainly the FNM is indeed a party and has a leader with a genuine interest in the people and in young people of our country.
Okay, so I hear you, and certainly sounds like a fantastic conversation. But people have challenged Dr. Minnis, obviously within the party itself, prior to your time, and generally in conversation, people say, I don't know if that could be our next prime minister. You know, you speak very confidently of it, and obviously you would have a one-on-one impression with working with your leader that the general public wouldn't see. What are some of those elements about him that you think should lead people to not just support you, if they live in Bain and Grandstown, but support the Free National Movement if they do not live in Bain and Grandstown and cannot vote for you specifically? Why should people take the risk or the chance on both you and Dr. Minnis, two people that people might say are inexperienced and should not hold this job?
Well, let me just say to that one thing I know that many people desire leadership because they want to make a name for themselves. They mostly think about the glitz and the glamour. But like I always say, I understand that the truly successful leaders are those who understand that to lead is to serve. And I say that simply because I know without a shadow of a doubt that my party leader and the next Prime Minister, Dr. Minnis, has a heart for the people and service for the people. And the challenge is not about the overall, this one with the experience and that with the experience, because we can look and we have seen where political experience have gotten our country today. And that's why we're in the mess we're in, right? And so my thing is, Dr. Minnis for me, he has a heart, a passion for the people. They will say, oh, well, Dr. Minnis he don't enthuse me. He's not excited. And when he's speaking, da-da-da-da. But for me, that's simply because, while the other people, leaders, come with all the vigor and eloquent words, they sell the people a dream. They have been selling, they specialize in selling the Bahamian people a dream with their fancy, eloquent words. When Dr. Minnis speak, he speak truth, the facts. You will either hear content, concrete information, but when you listen to the others, you will hear the birthday cake from the sky and this one ball up and you know. And so what we need in today's society is a leader with a steady hand, a leader who will stand and represent people on every front. We may say, well, oh, he is not the ideal person for me. We're all around. But the fact of the matter is, I would prefer someone who I know will go to bat for me any single day than to have someone who will sell me broken promises and broken dreams of like we have gotten over the past 4.5 years and then come back to me and tell me it's my fault.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm sure that there are those out there who would absolutely disagree with you. There are those out there who would say that our current leadership has had challenges, yes, but that they've achieved certain goals that they've set out for. I'm sure that there are others who would argue your points and would do so very well. Of course, I don't have a list of facts on me regarding the Progressive Liberal Party or Dr. Minnis, and so if at any point one of my callers would like to share that information, feel free to give us a call at 323-6232, 325-4316, or 325-4259, or send us a text message at 422-4796. We're continuing our conversation with Travis, and Travis, I want to find out from you whether or not you think that you are being a political ploy. So, for example, we know that one of the highest groups of registered voters thus far is actually our young people. Amen. We also know that our young people make up, if they go out and register, they will make up the majority of the vote.
Absolutely.
So obviously young people are important, and any leader that is looking to be elected in 2017 has to accept and acknowledge that young people must play a role in the parliament. With that in mind, then, can it be that you are being used as a political ploy to bring in young votes? Do you believe genuinely in the interest of the Free National Movement in backing you and in backing your vision for being in Grandstown? Or are you being used?
Well, let me say without a shadow of a doubt that as a young man, I certainly would not stand to be used by anyone. And I can say very well, very clear, that certainly this is not no any political ploy from any end of the spectrum. And I say that because when I sit with Dr. Minnis and my fellow FNM colleagues, we talk about issues that confront the Bahamian people on all ends. And I am not seated at the table silenced. My one vote is equal to Dr. Minnis's one vote when we sit at the table and we all cast our deciding votes. So for me, even if I am to be used as a political ploy, I stand to be used as a political ploy for the advancement of young people's interests in this country. At least I would have been able to echo the cries of young people and heighten the awareness and the challenges that young people face on a daily basis. And I know without doubt that this is not a political ploy in any sense of the word. For me, a political ploy would have been someone they just pull off the street and throw them inside there. No, I was on the ground working my community even before the whole FNM or any political party or deal came about. So for me, this is a commitment to my community. This is a commitment to young people everywhere, from Grand Bahama in the north to Inagua in the south. Because the fact of the matter is, it will take young persons like me and the thousands of young persons out there across the Bahama land who in the next 5 to 10 to 15 years will rise up and take our country forward. So for me at this time, it's about I'm able to sit at this table and to garner the experiences and the wealth of knowledge from my fellow colleagues within the FNM.
I mean, Travis, you passionate, right? Anybody watching us on cable, and of course we want to thank cable for airing us live now. Anybody watching can see the passion. You can feel it when you speak with you, and you say, okay, he may or may not be a political ploy. He certainly doesn't believe that he is. And whatever circumstance he finds himself in, he says that he is here to be the voice for young people. Whatever the reasoning is, he's been blessed with this opportunity. He's going to go ahead and proceed. So, Travis, now let me ask you this then. At only 21, have you lived enough of life to be able to truly contribute to a national conversation? You know, you're still in college at this time. You would have obviously had wonderful leadership experiences in high school, and I know that you had done some work with some of the young men in your community prior to even looking to be a candidate, even as an independent. But you haven't gone away, you haven't been married, you haven't had so many of the other experiences that older persons have. It may be a challenge for them to see in you someone that they could vote for. Why should an elderly person in Bain and Grantstown, who could be a great-grandmother, turn around and give a community and put our community into the hands of such a young man who they may say is green, who just, he doesn't know enough. He hasn't seen enough backdoor deals. He hasn't seen the corruption that we face or the challenges that confront us. He doesn't understand that the BEC generators are older than him. You know, what?
Older than all of us.
Older than all of us, right? What do you say to those persons who still have a vote and a voice in Bain and Grantstown? Why should they vote for you as a young man?
Well, I tell people this often, as frequent as they may ask. They ask the question, well, you don't come with the political experience, and how can we expect, what should we expect from you, and the list goes on. The fact of the matter is, I don't think that it's the political experience that help one to be an effective representative for the people.
Okay.
We can look at in today's parliament and we see the countless men and women with the masters and doctorates and the countless certification and degrees, and look at the job that they have done as representative for their various constituencies.
Okay.
And I say out loud that certainly if that is what experience and political degree and all that stuff gain you, then I simply don't want it. What we need now, the Bahamas, people are waking up in our society today. The normal way of doing politics with the lawyers and doctors is a thing of the past. That is why we are at the situation we are at right now. What we need are more young persons like myself who bring that community activism to the forefront, where it's not about what I can get for me or what I can do for my family members and the people who back me and supported me. It's about what I can do for my community. And as a young man, I don't apologize for being young. I'm sorry. Let me say that again. I, Travis L. Robinson, the next member of Parliament for Bain and Grantstown, do not apologize for being young. The fact, I think that my youthfulness bring a different perspective. Yes, I agree that I don't have the experience enough to remedy all the situations that we will encounter. But that is why I have fellow colleagues on my team who will spare me in the right direction. Because at the end of the day, what we have failed in this country to do for a very long time was to build a succession plan. And for some reason, we have allowed young persons like myself to slip through the cracks and to go to other countries around the world and to offer our talents and education and what we bring to the table. Because of the simple fact, oh, he's not old enough, he's not experienced enough. Well, let me ask you then, how does one get that political experience? And at the end of the day, there's no master's or doctorate's degree that can teach you how to have a heart for the people.
Okay. So you say have a heart for the people. You sound good to me, Travis. And one of the things you may have to convince these people on radio who listen to us, but I know you, right? So you don't have to convince me that you are genuine when you say that you care about your constituency, you care about this country as a whole, and all of the nation's young people. Caring, though, and concern is different from putting a plan into action. And I assure you, Travis, that there have been many before you and there'll be many after you with the same passion. People who genuinely, whether we believe them or not, and I believe that to offer yourself, and let me make that very clear to everyone listening, we have the right to criticize every politician that we put in place. We do. Anytime you offer yourself publicly, you are offering yourself up for scrutiny. But I genuinely believe that you do not put yourself on coals to be sacrificed by us as a public unless you feel some deep desire to help the community. Now that you have this passion, though, how does that translate into plans? How does your passion translate into plans? You originally, I think, had a 4 or 5 star plan.
And that's still the same.
That's still the same.
Yes.
So just remind me of what those points were.
So in Bain and Grantstown, we're going to go with a new theme of making Bain and Grantstown rise again. And that the 5-point plan will deal with education, combating crime, infrastructural development, sustaining health, and entrepreneurship. And one of the latest additions to the plan, of which I'm most proud of, is that we're going to make Bain and Grantstown and inner city communities tax-free zones.
Okay.
And this is something that our leader, Dr. Minnis, is certainly passionate about, being able to help the small man. Because oftentimes we've been putting all these taxations and things on the common man, and it's not affecting greatly the people at the top. It's the man at the bottom who've been squashed by all the tax and bills and all that stuff. So what the tax-free zone in Bain and Grantstown will allow is for residents and businesses in the community to bring in construction materials to rebuild, renovate homes, etc. in the area duty-free.
Okay.
We're also going to suspend the business license fees and property tax inside Bains and Grantstown. And that is all of that is in lieu of easing the burden on the common man. You know, being able to let residents breathe, if I could call it that.
All right. I mean, y'all have some exciting stuff that I'm hearing here, and we want to delve some more into that in this last part of our 10 o'clock hour. We'll also have another young person who's worked with Travis come in on our second part of the show. She'll be helping me to ask some of the questions and raise some concerns that young people have. But before we get to any of that, we have to take a commercial break to pay those bills. You're listening to Anastasia Palacios, and I'm sitting in with Travis Robinson here on Let's Talk Live.
Commonwealth Bank is giving you more convenient, reliable, and personal banking solutions, and now full-service Saturday banking at its Wolf Road branch. That's right, 7 Saturday banking locations to better serve you. Commonwealth Bank Plaza Branch, Mackey Street, Oaksfield Branch, Prince Charles Drive Branch, Cable Beach Branch, Golden Gates Branch, the Mall Drive Branch, Freeport Grand Bahama, and now Wolf Road Branch. Commonwealth Bank is open 6 days a week to better serve you, and every Saturday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Welcome to Premier Properties, the ultimate real estate guide. Each month, immerse yourself in an unprecedented and ever-growing catalog of luxury real estate listings in some of the most sought-after destinations in the Bahamas.
Hi, I'm Gavin Christie, Managing Partner at C.A. Christie Real Estate. We took advantage of listing our luxury real estate in the Premier Properties Real Estate Guide and have experienced tremendous success in just 2 short months. Thanks to Premier Properties, all eyes are on C.A. Christie.
Premier Properties, the ultimate real estate guide, offers access to detailed property information as well as property feature filters that connect you with luxury real estate and real estate network professionals who can answer any questions and lead you on a journey to discover your next dream property. Pick up your copy today in the Nassau Guardian. Premier Properties, the ultimate real estate guide. We bring you home.
Life isn't perfect, and neither are the holidays. You gotta buy the tree, gift for your mother-in-law, stop the kids from opening the gifts before Christmas.
Bain and Grantstown. Well, you may have everybody moving into Bain and Grantstown after that. But certainly, as you look at cities, as you look at sociology, as you look at the construction of communities, Renaissance eras certainly do help to provide opportunities for the community to grow. And he's obviously talked about entrepreneurship, sustainable healthcare, all of those things which matter to him and which can directly be impacted by something like a tax-free zone. So certainly that is very interesting, and we'd like to learn more about that in our second hour. But before we do take our news break, there are some messages coming in from some of our listeners, and I wanted to give those to you at this time and allow you to respond as you see fit. Whether that's no response at all, you can feel free to proceed. So the first one that we got in came in earlier, and someone asked, you address yourself as unapologetically young black male. What does that mean? Why would there be a need for an apology? Could you ask your guest, what does unapologetically young black male mean? What does it mean? Unapologetically young black male.
What that means is that I do not apologize for being young.
Okay.
People say that, oh, you're too young. So what do you want me to do? Say, I'm sorry for being young. I wish I was older? No. This is a new generation of young people. And the young people that I'm a part of, we certainly do not apologize for being young.
Okay.
But we stand with the older generation to learn from them. And that one day, I will have persons who come after me who will be young. And I won't turn a blind eye or a deaf ear towards them because they're young. No, I will then have to embrace them, to train them and give them the experience that I would have learned from the generations that went before me.
All right. And so, again, as we speak about being young, someone sent another note here, and they say, the young man is clearly green. He said it's time for lawyers and doctors to not be in charge of the country, but his leader is a doctor.
No, I think that the person misunderstood me.
Okay.
I said it's not business as usual, where we have the traditional just the business lawyers and doctors.
Okay.
That's my statement.
So it's not, we can't look only to those professions to lead us into the future then.
That is
so there's nothing wrong with those who are there and have those qualifications. But
Absolutely
certainly if we
not.
want to see changes in the country, we need to expand our pool from just those 2 professions.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's what.
And someone else is saying, they don't know you could follow Dr. Minnis. This person says Rodney Monka, Lincoln Bain, Edison Key today said that Dr. Minnis is a liar. How could you follow a liar as a leader?
Well, everybody is entitled to their own opinion and their own circumstances, but I can tell you that in the person of Dr. Minnis, he's a strong man, and we have seen from the mere fact that Dr. Minnis is still able to stand today, given criticism like those which you just read, Dr. Minnis stand today with his shoulders squared, and that is a man that I can follow. Even when the challenges and the opposition come against you, you're still able to rise. Maya Angelou penned it best when she said, "You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may throw it on me on this very dirt, but still like dust I will rise." And that is what Dr. Minnis has done.
Man.
Still like dust, he has rise.
We have a poet, a member of Parliament of the future, y'all. He got his poetry on lock, and he says he wants to get into the House of Parliament. Interesting indeed. We have some more messages coming in here, and this person agrees with you. They said that one doesn't need experience to be Prime Minister. He or she needs only to be Bahamian and of age. And so at least you have one supporter there in terms of that. Someone else says, "Good morning. I got your guest name, and it's a good show. I'm texting from Guyana. And I just want to encourage you, Travis. I really hope, but I'm excited to hear of a plan for the Overhill communities from the Free National Movement." So all the way from Guyana, getting some support there.
Thank you.
"Good morning. I am 18, and I live through Finlayson Street. Recently registered. God bless Dr. Minnis and the FNM Association for selecting this young, God-fearing man. Now that it's time to go home."
Amen. Amen. It's time to go.
Okay. Well, at least that young person is registered. And of course, I want to encourage all of you out there who are listening who've not yet registered to do so. Of course, we always encourage you to vote here. But even if you decide not to, at least give yourself the option by going out and registering to vote. Someone else sends a message saying, "I applaud the young man and I encourage him with the words of the prophet Isaiah, and a child shall lead them all." All right. Thank you so much for all of you that sent messages in. We hope that they will continue to come in for Travis. Of course, if you have any questions or concerns, you can send us a message at 422-4796 or give us a call at 323-6232, 325-4316, or 325-4259. Travis, while I still have you with me, I'd like to talk to you about why you or how you can encourage other young people to vote. We know that recently the College of the Bahamas held on its campus a voter registration drive supported by the National Panhellenic Greek organizations on the campus and the U.S. Embassy. And there was a lot of, for some strange reason, flack around the fact that this was backed by the U.S. Embassy. A lot of people were very upset for whatever reason that someone else was being involved with encouraging people to register to vote. And that might be another show in its own entirety. One I certainly don't understand. Yeah. Obviously, I believe everybody needs to be encouraging people to vote, and whoever does the encouraging is fine. Let's just get people registered. But why do you think it's important? Some people have given up. There are young people in our generation who say, forget this voting thing. It makes absolutely no sense. I'm trying to get to Canada or the U.S. anyway, so I really don't care. Why should young people, and people generally, register to vote in the upcoming election?
Well, you raise, that's a very interesting question. And one of the things that I can say as a young person myself, at first I can be honest with the Bahamian public that I too was in a state of hesitation to go out and register to vote because simply it wasn't making sense. You get the same old A, B, C, D from all sides of the coin. And for me, I had to come to the realization that as a young person, at the end of the day, I could sit down and decide, well, no, I'm not going to get registered to vote. But the decisions of those who would have went out there and registered to vote and vote on election day will be what I would have to live with. I want, as a young person, I want the record to reflect in the years ahead that in the 2017 general election, even if it don't go the way that we intend for it to go, or if it does go the way we intend for it to go, to be able to say that I was a part of that change. I was a part of making that change happen. And I know that it can become very discouraging as young people when we look at the current Parliament today and politics as we know it. It just don't make sense. It's frustrating. It's like, who's for young people? But I am indeed confident. I'm proud that I could sit here right now and to say that as an official candidate for the Bahamas 2017 general election, that I will be that voice for young people everywhere I go, as I have been doing in the past. And at the end of the day, at least even if we get one in the door, that's a start. And so I encourage young people from every ends of our Bahama land, Grand Bahama in the north to Inagua in the south, to go out and get registered, because at the end of the day, we have a say in our country. And we've got to be able to make that decision for ourselves and not let the generation who will leave the decision what they make for us to inherit when they go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, certainly strong words there from a strong candidate with lots of strong opinions and encouraging young people to vote, and all people to vote, as a matter of fact. He believes, and as do I, that if you do not vote, you allow those who do vote to make that decision for you. And believe it or not, every vote certainly does count. And he's hoping that they will count toward a free national movement victory
Absolutely.
in 2017. Well, we are going up on our 11 o'clock news hour, but we do have another text message that I really would like to read before we do so. This person says, leadership is not a matter of age. Leadership is a matter of direction. Dr. Miles Monroe said, we don't need people in leadership. We need leadership in people. Excellent quote to end this first hour with. We'll be back with more after your 11 o'clock news update. We have young lady and producer, communicator extraordinaire Sean Gomez in studio with us. We'll be talking with Travis about concerns of those that are younger than I am. And we'll be right back after this news break. Parliament, do you intend to stay at the University of the Bahamas and still serve the people of Bain and Grantstown? How will that work?
That's simple. I'm actually a senior now.
Okay.
I have 2 classes remaining, and that will complete that.
Okay.
And that will not be an issue.
All right.
Travis, I would have loved to let you get away with that LOI question, right? The letter of intent question. I would have loved to do it, but that's not my nature. And we have to understand that while there are pressing issues in the Bahamas, which is very true, we cannot go over the fact that trust is important when you're thinking of picking a political party. So I'm trying to figure out how you are dealing with the fact that the same person who was leading your party was bashing Renard Wells about this letter of intent when this first came out, but then allowed him to come into the party, all fine and dandy. We didn't have any responses to the letter of intent. We didn't get a reason why he was allowed to just come in the party and be all free without an explanation. But he requested these things before he came in the party. So as a young person going into this, you had no questions regarding this to Dr. Minnis. You had no questions regarding the fact that, hey, I see some suspicious stuff happening, lay on the table. You didn't ask these things?
Well, let me say that out of being the real person that I am, I can give you 2 responses right now.
Okay.
I could give you a political response and beat around the bush and speak to some fluff and buff, or I can give you the Travis response.
Give us
the Travis response that will tell you that I will allow for the party to be able to answer that question, because I do not have all of the information surrounding that at this time to effectively and clearly respond to that.
So no, you did not ask Minnis those questions when you were first speaking to him about joining the Free National Movement?
Again, I will allow for the party to respond to that.
So obviously for Travis, it was not. I see the brighter side of things, right? Maybe that's why I need Sean and that ask the tough stuff, right? But I would then suggest, Travis, then for you, it was more of an issue of helping being in Grantstown at all cost, rather than to let that blemish deter you from what it was that you're trying to achieve. Is that something that you would
certainly
say?
my focus when coming into the Free National Movement was certainly not the LOI or any of those other things. My focus, moreover, was as a young man coming in to represent Bain and Grantstown, was how do we put the kinds of legislation in place and the opportunities for the people of Bain and Grantstown, and more importantly, young people in our country. Because fact of the matter is, the issues of today will no longer be the issues of tomorrow, or the issues of tomorrow will simply add to the issues of today. And at the end of the day as well, we as young persons and young people throughout the Bahamas are going to be the ones who are going to have to effectively address these issues and concerns. So I'm starting now with a focus, a specific focus, which is certainly my community of Bain and Grantstown and young people throughout the length and breadth of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Okay. You talk good. You talk like a politician, so that's that's always good. But I had asked some young people on Facebook to let me know what their concerns were, and one young lady says, I don't really care about this upcoming election. I think our young people We need to have real concrete plans. What are the opportunities for those students abroad in universities to come back home? How are they going to be able to use their degrees and get paid for them? What voice will speak and fight for us? What's different? Why should I vote this time around when so many have caused us to give up on them and on us? You know, we tired. Like some people they just tired and they do not care. Why fight? Why choose you to fight for them?
Well, here's the thing. Quite frankly, I'm sick and tired of it as well. And as a young person, I'm up to my nostrils with the nonsense that we see in the political arena today. And I had, again, one of two choices. To talk about it or to get in there and try to solve the problems as best as I can. And that is exactly what I'm doing. When we think about the countless young people who leave high school and go to universities and colleges abroad, and they get their degrees, they think twice before coming back home, simply because, as you mentioned, the opportunities that extend itself for young people in our country is few and little to none. Myself as a young man going into this political arena now and having an opportunity to sit at the decision-making table will now allow for me as a young man to advocate, to bring these things to fruition in terms of what kind of opportunities will we have in place for young people when they return from colleges and universities abroad. The issue that I currently see now is that we don't have no young person at the table right now advocating for young people across the length and breadth of our country. We can say, well, oh, my MP have young people best interests at heart. But it is nothing like when you actually have a young person at the table who only know how to speak to the issues concerning his or her generation.
Okay. Shawnee, talk a good game, boy. That's one thing I like, but the boy always can talk. He can speak on anything.
You know.
Do you think, or what are some of the concerns of young people, young voters in particular, that should be coming to the table with Travis if and when he gets there?
I think, well, I represent, I think, a small number of young people who actually sit down and actually go through politics and stuff like that. So my idea of what's important may be different from a lot of young people, but I definitely think that the economical climate of the Bahamas is definitely number one concern for them. What's the sense of going to University of the Bahamas when you coming out and you overqualified or you can't find a job? So that's definitely number one for them. But I think in general right now, they're just sick and tired of the same old and the same old. And Travis does represent something that's different, but I am wary because, you know, Travis joined a party that to me represents the same old, and so
so that gives cause for concern.
It does give cause for concern.
Okay.
Right, and I'm certainly mindful of those feelings of young persons in regards to the party as well. But like I tell them, at least I am happy to know that the FNM is making steps in the right direction by bringing a young man like myself on into the political arena. And not just to bring me on for the fluff and buff, because I can tell you when I leave from here, I have a meeting in a few minutes to sit down with some of my young colleagues as well to draft the young people platform that will be going into the Free National Movement's manifesto in coming into the general election. I can tell you that the FNM is certainly, without doubt, making every stride possible to ensure that we have something in every area of our manifesto that will address the concerns of young people. We are mindful that young people are sick and tired. I am a young person. And so every day when Dr. Minnis see me, he know the look in my face that says that I'm sick and tired as a young person. And so he says to me, Travis, I am going to need you to lead the charge to ensure that our party do every single thing possible to give young people the opportunities that they need.
You talk a good game, and we wish the best for you, Travis. We certainly do. And we have some people that wish the best for you as well. Got a text message in that says, this is Barbara Wilson, and I'm truly amazed by Travis Robinson. This guy has the right spirit, the right attitude, and the right guidance from above. Stay strong, and whenever in doubt, simply do what is right. Some good words to leave on as we take our first break for this hour. Simply do what is right. Well, we've got some more questions and text messages coming in. Y'all are blowing up the lines with Travis in these comments. And we will have more for you after we take this commercial break. You're listening to Anastasia Palacios on Let's Talk Live.
This Christmas, I got this. Because she's shopping at CBS Bahamas. The living room to be lively. That patent Lambert paint is gonna pop. The kitchen gonna be sleek and stylish. Those Sunco cabinets are gonna look amazing. And Christmas dinner gonna be on point. New dinnerware, glassware, nice. CBS Bahamas got the tree, decorations to put on the tree, and gifts to put under the tree. Power tools, car accessories, gift cards.
In Grandstown. So the public will hear it, the nation will hear it. And that is, at the end of the day, that's what it's about.
Okay. Good morning. If experience matters so much, why is this government so incompetent and ill-prepared to govern? Between Mr. Christie, Mr. Davis, Mr. Nottage, and others in the government, there is more than 100 years of experience. And look at the crisis we find ourselves in. Perhaps it's time we elect younger, sharper minds to take us into the future. The Bible says that without vision, the people perish. All right, and we know that Travis has a vision. He's talked to us about that vision this morning, and we're going to continue that conversation. We have this young person who was from Phillison Street. They messaged us earlier, responding again, saying, "Good day, madam. I support Mr. Robinson 300%. Dr. Minnis brightening up his team. Quacko Street loves Travis." All right, Quacko Street, big up yourself.
All right, Quacko Street.
We, the people of Bain and Grantstown, welcome the fresh ideas of Mr. Robinson. Mr. Nottage is tired and nothing has changed in the area. Welcome, MP Robinson. And I mean, they really sent us a lot of message. All right. Good morning, ladies. Listening to the show, this young man is from Bimini Avenue. So I think we have like a community text going on here. From Bimini Avenue. As a plan, we already listened to Dr. Nottage Years of Flaming. We tried, Lord knows we tired. And this young lady now, hi, is a young lady from Dumping Ground Corner. We welcome Mr. Robinson. We are interested in only things that affect Bain and Grantstown. Betterment for Bain and Grantstown. The LOI and other missteps by this dying PLP Dr. Minnis and the chairman question to them, not to my MP. Yes, ma'am. Thank God you strong warrior joined the FNM. Minnis got a touchdown when he found you. You will follow in Gregory Williams' footsteps as the next MP for Bain and Grantstown. Well, you certainly seem to have some support out there, Travis. Good morning. Please ask your guests to explain the meaning of these two words and the people they represent. Stealing and misappropriation of funds. Please ask your guests to explain the meaning of these two words and the people they represent. Stealing and misappropriation of funds. Any comments on that, Travis?
My comments to that is I can explain the words that I represent, and that's young people, and that's a future for the Bahamas.
All right, so you therefore, and you know, Travis, this is a real concern, and I will speak it to you as honestly as I can. People have viewed politicians for a very long time in a very negative light. And that is why I certainly admire you being willing to step into this game, because for a lot of people, they almost feel as if it's a bad thing to want to be involved in politics. When I in fact believe that it's a good thing, because you have to be the change if you claim to want one, right? But given that you are 21, Travis, unlike your leader, who has been able to grow and build an empire and to take himself up from poverty and to become a millionaire, etc., you are a young person just starting out. Some people may say the temptation for you specifically is probably why you should wait a few more years, because you will be in a position where if they allow you, you can negotiate certain deals and have letters of intent for yourself. How then do you prepare to not be associated with words like misappropriation of funds and stealing? What will guide you as you are so young and just about to begin to build business at a time when other young people are just starting to get into their careers? You're going into politics. What stops you from becoming the hand in the cookie jar?
Well, let me say to that, one of the things that I'm proud that I was able to do or to be was to grow up in a family of strong morals and principles. And one of the things that my grandmother always told me, she said, Travis, if you have anything in life, money, riches, car, wife, family, whatever you have, always carry integrity. And she said, Travis, understand what integrity is. It's doing the right thing, not because others are watching, but because it is the right thing to do. The basis upon which I was brought up in a family of Christian values, in a family who understand integrity. Those are the basis and the principles that I will govern on. At the end of the day, it's not only about young persons being able to have a voice outside, but young people being able to have a voice at the decision-making table.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that, Travis. We will continue on with more with Travis Robinson, the candidate for Bain in Grantstown, and Deshaun Gomez, University of the Bahamas student and presidential advisor for the University Student Government. And, of course, I'm Anastasia Palacios, back with more after this. Bear with me, listeners. I'm reading the messages as they are received. So once Minnis and the boys satisfied the Bahamian people could fly a kite, I assume. Sounds like Fred Mitchell to me. All right. Not sure there what you meant, but I assume you think that there's more that can be done from the Free National Movement side. Someone says, young man, here are the questions asked of you, and I fail to see the relevance of most of them to your ability to have effective input in your community. For example, the LOI question, how to get your business. Keep your head up and let the journal student go and research the question, and she must tell us. You heard that, Sean? You go and research it, and you must let the people know. I will tell you this much, and this is for the listeners. Of course, Sean did ask the question, but we got it from a text message before, and to my understanding, the reason this question is important is because Travis claims to stand on the basis of integrity and Christian values. If that is your motivating factor, and you then walk into an alliance with people who have shown that their concern over LOIs are only used as a political tool and not when it impacts them directly, that then gives us concern about Travis. Where then do you stand on matters of that nature? If this is not relevant to you, and he explained it, he said, at the end of the day, I want to do what's best for Bain in Grantstown. I want to be able to offer myself and Bain in Grantstown the best services, and for me, that came through a partnership with the FNM. He then said, so it was not, in terms of weighting the issue, the LOI was not as weighted for him as it was the need to have effective representation in Bain in Grantstown, which he felt he could achieve through the FNM. He also said that he will give the party the opportunity to address the LOI as it is concerned for Bahamians. But for Sean and for other young people, that LOI matters. And it matters to them because it says, how can you say that this person is wrong for this when they're on the other side of the fence? But the minute they join you, there are no questions asked. What then do you truly mean by integrity? And if we allow you to govern, will you be as free with information as you claim that the opposition should be? That is all I got from that conversation as to why the LOI was important. And Sean, you could elaborate if it matters. If not, I think we have some other things to address.
It just amazes me how Bahamians just so quickly allow issues to go by. If y'all are satisfied with the answers y'all received and that everything's okay concerning carnival money, concerning the misappropriation of other funds and stuff like that, if that's how y'all feel, that y'all are fine with it, then you know what, so be it. But as for me, I will continue to hold anybody's foot over the fire, and I will continue to ask questions. So, how is it his business? He has joined a party in which this was a concern for his leader at the time. He switched over, he joined the Renwood Wells, joined the party, then it became nothing. So you are now a part of a party that is basically condoning the actions of something that was blatantly incorrect. So I have the right to ask you, if I'm going to even say that you are an excellent candidate, to ask you, well, hey, why do you feel like that was okay? So, I have the right to ask that question. You might not,
Yeah. So someone says, wow, her attitude is really poor. I also want to know about the LOI, but the attitude really isn't necessary. There are better ways to respond to people. Can you ask Travis if he's willing to ask Dr. Minnis about the LOI? Well, Travis has since answered that. This question was received earlier. Yeah. While there are more important issues facing the country, you can't claim transparency and do otherwise. Very well said there. Regarding that last statement, you cannot claim transparency and then do otherwise. And certainly Travis has already addressed this LOI issue from a party perspective. Yes. Obviously, it was before his time, and so he's addressed it as best as he can. And of course, Sean is new, man. Y'all give her a chance. She's young, she's learning, and she's passionate. And I think one of the things that you will note if you look at radio hosts across the length and breadth of our nation is that each of them has their own style, their own grace, their own flair, and that they learn over time. So we thank you so much for allowing us the opportunity to speak today as young people and to obviously offer your feedback as you deem fit.
Yes, and then just to reiterate again for persons who would have joined into the conversation thereafter, since you mentioned it again, the leader of our party Dr. Minnis and our party is satisfied with Mr. Wells' response to the LOI, and again, the party will make an address to that in short order.
All right. Ask Travis how he voted in the last referendum. Boom, straight. No long story, Travis.
Which one?
The referendum regarding the latest one that we had was gender equality. And, you know, you've spoken a lot about being unapologetic man. Where do women fit into your agenda? Do you believe in policies that would allow for the equality of all citizens under the law?
Let me tell you, I voted to advance for the advancement of our country, and I certainly believe that women should have every right that is afforded to a man inside our country. And if we are to grow and to develop into a ever-evolving society and country where we go from being a third world to a first world country, we are to ensure that the playing field and the ground is level on all ends. So for me, it is no difference in equality when it comes to man and woman.
All right. Good day. So the inner city communities experience hurt and pain from paying taxes, yet want to benefit from NIB. Aren't these very same communities where the number shops gain the most? No pain and hurt there. Okay. All right. Obviously, I don't know what that's from number shops.
It's clear that, see, oftentimes, in order for you to understand something, most cases, you would have to either experience it or live in it. We often have persons outside of the community of Bains and Grantstown who bash people in the area because of what they call the quote-unquote life expectancies without due process. For example, you look at a home in Bain and Grantstown that may be dilapidated, but yet there's a fancy car sitting in front of the house. See, the fact of the matter is, oftentimes we have to hear the whole story.
Okay.
You know, because the fact of the matter is, in this country, it is 1 billion times easier for one to go and obtain loan for a car than to obtain loan for a house.
Right.
You're talking mortgages in the thousands and thousands of dollars. You're talking about a $5,000 car, $4,000 car, you know?
Yeah.
And so we've got to put it into perspective. That does not change the fact that the people of Bain and Grantstown are hurting.
Yeah. And so that's why I think and that's why I said we need to see more of a policy that we could read from and actively critique from, and so we look forward to hearing that from you. But to my mind, you are looking at this in a holistic picture, with the intent that while these concessions may only last for a time, the benefit of this concession will be, and there will be benchmarks and measurements, and I think that that's what people are looking for, to see not just ideas out there, but how will this affect the change that we say that we want to make.
Yeah, for far too long we have been making decisions in our country that only affect and benefit the now. And then the next 10, 15, 20 years down the road, we start all the way over again from scratch. But when we put policies and systems in place like the tax-free zone for Bains and Grantstown, in the years ahead, it may not be seen in my generation or even the generation thereafter, but we would have known that in the next 50 to 60 years, the generation of that time would benefit tremendously from the decisions that we made today. We got to stop living for the now and start living for the future.
All right, so. A good day, ladies. I am proud Mr. Robinson Black Village is listening. Good day. I want to thank Mr. Edison Key for his outstanding service as the Member of Parliament for South Abaco. We don't need to see no Hubert Ingram at this time. He's already done his part. Enjoy your retirement, Mr. Ingram and Mr. Key. Minnis is putting together a real team to roll out these Chinese PLP crew. All right. And let's see what else we have before we get our final comments. Oh, dear. Okay, I'm changing Travis' name to Ali. This boy is swift. He can say if he voted yes or no? There was plenty words just now. He voted for or against in the last referendum. Don't let him float by you, Star. Line him up. I like direct answers. All right, well, listen, it's been a great morning. And listen, these text messages, I thank you all. We really do appreciate it as young people when you engage in the conversation with us. One more message before we go. I agree with you, ma'am. This is a corrupt town, and he may fall weak. Go into politics broke, and in 5 years be rich. But it would be good to see if he can win being in town as an FNM. Well, I'm going to get final thoughts from you before we head out. We've just got about 3 minutes left before the 12 o'clock news hour. Sean, I'm going to start with you. Thank you so much. Just make it quick for us.
I support Travis a lot. Travis knows that. So you hear me asking questions and stuff like this. This is because I am generally unbiased, even though I do support Travis. But I'm going to ask him questions because that's what I've been trained to do. And as a Bahamian, that is my concern. So I wish Travis all the best.
All right, Travis, final thoughts for you.
Let me just say that the people of Bain and Grantstown can certainly look out. Hope is on the way. Better days are ahead. We're going to make Bain and Grantstown rise again. And I say to the sleeping giant of Bain and Grantstown, let my people go.
Oh, jeez. Well, listen, it's been a great show. Thank you so much. You can follow up with Travis Robinson. You can find him on Facebook for more information on him. Want to thank our sponsors, Burger King, Fidelity Bank Bahamas, Water and Sewage Corporation, CBS Bahamas, KFC, Commonwealth Bank, Epic Battery, BTC. Stay with the company that connects every island, rock, and key in the Bahamas. This is Anastasia Palacios. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will be back with you again this week. Carlton sends his regards, and of course, we thank all of you for listening in. You're listening to the best radio network, Guardian 96.9.
Let me just say that the Free National Movement, if I could put this in, is certainly the party for young people, by young people, and with young people.
And that's going to do it for us, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. Just gonna jump.